National Assembly Public Investment Committee has summoned Jubilee Vice Chair David Murathe and 3 other signatories of Kilig Limited, a company said to have been awarded 4 billion shillings contract in the recent Kenya Medical Supplies Agency scandal. The members of parliament says affidavits sent to them by 3 signatories have left the committee with questions as to why directors would resign days after getting the lucrative contract and now want the 4 to appear before 8 on Thursday next week.
After taking National Assembly Committee on Public Investment in rounds for months, the 3 signatories of Kilig firm, who had been summoned to shed more light on their involvement in the 4 billion shillings KEMSA scandal, failed to show up. Instead, the signatories opting to send affidavits to the committee.
Mr. Wilbert Gachoka here has indicated that it was agreed amongst themselves, again due to the standing of Mr. Murathe, that Mr. Murathe becomes a signatory into that particular account.
It is, however, the declaration that some resigned from the company days after securing the contract that left committee members with more questions than answers.
Mr. Murathe, in his own sworn affidavit, indicates that he knows the directors of Kilig. He indicates that he also knows the director of Entech Technology Limited, Mr. Chen Chow. What has not been supplied to us is the finance module agreement that was between Entech and equally Kilig. It is not in front of us. We also do not know the agreement that was signed between the 3 parties. One thing that this company has failed to show is whether they actually justified, they fought back or they wrote back to KEMSA, or was it a phone call that made that revival back again?
Some signatories, among them are finance-based financial, in their affidavits claim Jubilee Vice Chair David Murathe played an influential part in having the company paid for supplying 450,000 personal protective equipment.
It would seem, therefore, that David Murathe was brought for guaranteeing the process. And because he is a senior, respected, reputable Kenyan, to influence the process. And he himself says that I was there just to make sure that the payment is done. His role, why he was made a signatory to that account, was to make sure that this thing was paid. It can only mean that his role was to influence. And because he's been described as a respected Kenyan, this is why we need him. Because Kenyans want to see this big fish who influenced the payment in KEMSA.
And a commitment letter has been written in regards to the 4 billion shillings. There was no no consideration of whether there was a budget involvement.
But it would be good, as you know, Chair, that this individual has to appear before this committee. And the committee has the powers of the High Court. And we must ensure that he comes here. We actually interrogate him and we really put issues as required.
The committee now wants the 4 to appear before it physically next Thursday, before it tables its final report when the House resumes from recess in May. For Channel 1 News, I'm Gladys Mongai.